131st. Shameful. When you go to the Olympics, and you look at the performance of our country, yes, we are picking up 1 or 2 gold medals, 1 or 2 medals, but it is nothing compared to what a small country like Hungary or Poland, I'm not talking about China, United States, even Malaysia picks up. So we are not performing. When you look in terms of exports, export is a measure of how competitive we are. If you look at trade balance, it is negative. I don't know whether you know, from 1950 to 2022, if you plot, the curve keeps going down. That we are buying more than we sell. Why? Because we are not competitive. So the times are very serious. You know, it's very serious. On one side, our Prime Minister is talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, talking about a country that he wants to be proud and you want to be proud of. And we're talking about the year 2047, where we'll be celebrating our 100th day of independence, 100th year of independence. And we all obviously want to see that will be a very colorful one. But it will not happen automatically. You know, there's statements made, sure, we'll become the biggest economy, sure, we'll become one of the most important powers, but it would not happen if we just sit there and hope things will happen. So that was one topic I would have loved to have discussed with you. But it would have been better if we had a very big audience, because there would have been a lot of questions. In the process, hopefully a consensus would evolve. The second topic I have in mind is what I'm seeing right in front of you. That this particular event was perhaps announced maybe even a week ago. But when I go to Tsinghua University, which was not in the top 100, I would say when I graduated from IIT, it is now in the top 10, in the top of the universities in the world. When I go there, I was talking earlier, even when I let them know I'm coming to China, coming to Beijing, and maybe 3 days before the event is houseful. So obviously that also says the degree of interest your counterparts have on important subjects than you have. So the second topic could be, what is the difference? Why so? What are you interested in? That you are in one of the premier institutes of a country, and if you do not feel responsible that you have to achieve to be a premier personality, to make this country a premier country, then who should? So that could be the second subject. The third subject could be, I would reverse it. I do not know whether we can call us illustrious alumni. I don't feel that way. Because if I was illustrious, many people should have shown up. I would have been shining, and that will draw. There's another illustrious alumni here, Commander Jaitley. But I don't think we deserve that term. So one thing I would like to request the director of IIT today, I've decided right now sitting there, that please do not call me illustrious alumni. Just call me alumni. I would deserve to be illustrious when you will treat the alumni illustriously. I really mean it, Commander, by the way. Otherwise, we are fooling with words. And that's why our country is going down. You know, Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India, I've heard in 1960s. But then we realized we cannot do anything ourselves. Then country opened up. That time I raised a series of issues that if we just open up without a strategy, imports will increase, because we are not ready. And indeed, imports agreed. Every product that you buy, made in China, designed in California. Voiceover. So third subject could be, what do you want to know from me? Choose any subject. So there are 3 options. Or fourth option is to stop the meeting. So 4 options. Option 1, talk about the world and what does it mean for India and how you should prepare to play the games. Option 2, what is it that is not allowing your friends to be here, what is your analysis? What are they doing? And option 3, as I mentioned, and option 4 is to close this meeting. Which one would you prefer? It's a question to you. Second option. What was the second option? Boy? Yeah, good. So obviously the question is with you. Makes my life a bit easier. Why do you think they're not here?
Sir, I wanted to just put forward a few points so that we are not feeling bad in this moment. I want to clarify two things. It's not that people are not interested. People are interested. Our end sem exams ended on 25th, and in this process, people are going out. They're going back to their homes, and a remaining chunk of the population is having their placement tests. So that's why this lag is present. But I like to say that I was present here yesterday also. I was in the crowd. I asked questions also. So it's not like that we are not interested. But the point is the timing of the conclave that happened, it happened during the time when a lot of students are busy. So I'm really sorry that the students were not able to come. They also had reasons, but it is not justifiable in any ways. I'm not justifying anything, but I just want to put forward this point.
Forums to speak on leadership, to conduct leadership workshop as my colleague Commander Jaitley. But I feel sorry that many of your friends missed out. The second point I'd like to make, you guys are very special, as you know. I mean, I don't have to tell you that because you are here. But such people know how to manage time. They know how to stretch time. The difference between an ordinary person and an outstanding person, everyone is given 24 hours. Everyone is given 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 heart, 2 lungs, 2 legs, 2 arms. But what I have seen in my travels through the world, those who can harmonize the 3 H's, the hand, the heart, and the head, with the challenges outside, they are the one who becomes extraordinary leaders. Leadership is not given to you. Leadership is also something that you cannot tell people, okay, make me a leader. You earn it. I always use the example of Mother Teresa. I think that's one of the best examples of leadership because she did not pay anyone any salaries to build an organization of 360,000 people, nuns, around the world. And how did she start? Serving a poor child on the street of Calcutta. And she built up the charities, missionaries of charity. That's leadership. So these people, if Mother Teresa was here, perhaps her answer would be, let me go out, can you give me 5 minutes? I'll fill up the audience. That's a leader. Now that's an opportunity I'm giving you right now. In 5 minutes, I'll fill up this auditorium. That's a leader. So we'll talk about the second subject, why you're not here. So that's what I got your point, that exams, but then perhaps we have to take the responsibility, the Academy of Leadership, that we should have chosen. They had a logic. The logic, when we discussed about the dates, the logic would be the exams will be over, students will be relatively free, it is on a Saturday and Sunday, maybe 30% will be gone, but out of how much, what is the population of the student? 15,000. 70% or 15,000 will be here. Of that 70% or 10% would attend. What is the number? This is something more fundamentally wrong. So one thing I was in McKinsey and Company, where the first training program that we had was art of problem solving. The first thing that we were not only trained but practiced, the way to solve problems is to define the problem right. The way you defined it, maybe you're right, but I want to go a step deeper. They called going to the core, going to the root cause. The Japanese call the Ishikawa diagram. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Ishikawa diagram. Are you? See, that's why you should, in the Academy of Leadership, will teach that. Our first microcredit course would be problem solving. And if you are engineers who are supposed to solve problems, if you do not Ishikawa diagram, your education is incomplete. Though you are a VP, but you get disqualified. Are you sure none of you know about the Ishikawa diagram? Okay. We'll come to that. Maybe I'll do a course on Ishikawa diagram. Who else? What is the other reason? That was one, and I respect that. But no, I didn't say excuse. We're looking for a reason. No, I didn't think about it as excuse. That is your way of analyzing the problem. Let's go. We'll go deeper, and that would be the purpose of this. Now it's no longer it's leadership. The leadership is about problem solving. Anyone else? Yeah.
So what I feel is there are several fears in people at leadership positions which they fear from that if they do something, then something else may happen to them. So this may be a reason that today people are not here.
Wait a minute. There are 2, 3 things you're saying. We're saying people who are in leadership positions, but they're fearful. But that is in contradiction to people why they're not here. If they're fearful, they want to be leaders, they're fearful of leadership, they should be here to find out how they could begin the journey. Leadership is a journey. It's, there's always room at the top. It's never-ending journey. It's a continuous search of who you are. And more you understand who you are, your ability to lead others. And again, you don't have to lead others. That's a wrong definition of leadership. Leadership is that you have the confidence to take on any problem. People would surround you. So there was a contradiction in that statement. So think through it carefully. We say people who are in leadership roles are fearful. Firstly, great leaders are fearless. So they are not leaders, right there. And that's why they couldn't come. That's why they should come. Open their hearts. Which year are you in? Which year are you in? Fourth year. So again, what you are telling me, so far the message I'm taking, this first year, Commander, we have to have a course on problem solving. They're not being able to structure this problem properly. How to structure the thought process. That's the first step in problem solving. Whether you want to be an engineer or a management consultant or an investment banker or a teacher or a whatever, social worker, the first step is how do you structure, define the problem. Anyone else? You would like to take a position? Why have not people showed up? Yes.
Sir, if we go by structure, then one part will be to identify the potential of the people who can
What do you think? He sent out. Did you send out a note as a VP?
Yes, sir. From the president itself, a note was sent, and to the students in it collectively at the respective colleges, information regard. Sir, he's also stating the same point that information flow of information is there, but at the same point, you need to ensure that that flow of information is coming from multiple avenues or multiple such events are happening at the same time. There are 2 or 3 societies conducting other events as well, and then there comes up a summit. So out of the 2, 3 events, for the people to know how to prioritize the events, there should be someone who goes over there and tells them that this specific event is there. These are the benefits that you get. This is the value addition that you get after attending this thing, and that is why you should prioritize it, and you should ensure that you should make it convenient to attend the session. Some sort of that convention, so that the students get the realization what to prioritize and why to attend that. Sometimes that is needed. It just simply passing on the information might not, get the realization to the students.
Commander, if you don't mind, can you take another point as a note that the belief is, or or you pass me the paper, I'll take notes. That's why I brought the paper. Oh, you want a pen? Pen I have. So, no, I have it. No, wait, let me just go step by step. But I would like to see, everything you're saying I'm taking very seriously. But I would dissect what you're making the statement so we can get to the heart of it. Because it's easy to state what you're saying, but just give me a moment. My pen got stuck here. This got a can you, it doesn't go, there's a magic. Okay. Again, I'm going to dissect the statement that you're making. Students get a lot of information. We live in a world of information. I get, you wouldn't believe, if you look at my emails, I get about 700 to 750 emails from all over the world, since I live very globally. Sometimes from a CEO of a company, sometimes I also teach. Student at Harvard Business School, or a student at Tufts, or someone who yesterday I got a very interesting email for someone from the Cornell University, where I gave a lecture like this once in Cornell. I had nothing to do with Cornell. A Chinese girl sent me, what a touching note, I can read it to you. It's there, that I was so touched with the speech that you delivered in Cornell. I didn't know that she was there, that in Thanksgiving Day I couldn't think of anyone but to remember you, and send a beautiful note. Now, the point that I want to make, you guys will be receiving a lot of information. That's true. Now, if you now tell Mr. Jaitley you have to prioritize that for you, or Mr. Vashne, Professor Vashne has to prioritize that for you, or your hall warden has to come and tell you what is important, what is not so important, I think then where is your brain working? It is your responsibility to be able to pick up and look at the various information. Okay, I'll go here. So if you are not come here, that's fine. Maybe leadership is not something you guys worry about. You think you'll become a leader because you're in IIT. Well, let me bet on that. That will not happen. So we want to go deeper into it also. Again, I'm not trying to go against what you're saying. I'm trying to understand what you're trying to say. And to understand, I have to go deep and deeper till we get to the root cause. And that's problem solving. Once we go to the root cause, we will find a way to develop a solution. The biggest worry I have, which you guys are missing out, the guys in Tsinghua University also receive as much information. The day I gave a speech, there were 4 parallel speakers. 2 of them were Nobel Prize winners. One was a bit earlier. All of them were houseful, including this one, because we're talking about 15,000 students. 30% is out. Let's assume there are 5 events right now going on. But now you do the math. You will expect 300 people here, if it's conservative estimate, otherwise even more.
For
Oh,
this specific event, like we were advised that only the student senate members, that include the hall presidents, second senate members, and the UGPGRS representatives to attend
so
specifically.
they're all here then.
Yes, sir. So
Then you should have told me right
not
up front.
not no, no, sir. Just the student senate members were invited and told to have an interaction session with you.
Okay,
So
that's-
we've
first,
called-
see, this is again a communication breakdown. Uh, no, but then you shouldn't say that. No,
Sir,
see,
but
wait.
we got the impression that you were discussing regarding the participation during the today and the yesterday's
no,
conclave.
no, I'm
as
talking
well.
about this one. Then we shouldn't have taken this room. See, if it is a meeting with 20 people, which I understand now, why are you in such a big room?
So the reason for that, because we were having a Netaji auditorium booked by Partha Ghosh Academy already for the session, so it was decided to continue the same venue rather than booking a separate venue.
Okay.
And
So-
5 o'clock we have yeah, at 5 p.m. we have another event where
Yeah.
first years the entire batch has been called. So to avoid all the hustle and book a separate venue, it was decided to continue over here itself.
So it took us 30 minutes to understand the problem. And problem is me. Problem is me. Because what you are saying, that I did not understand what this meeting is all about. And there was a communication gap. But you could have stopped me to say, Mr. Ghosh, we are very happy. We have everyone that we wanted to have is right in this room. So one of you should have said that. No, previously, of course, it was very shameful, but that's gone. No, no, I was talking about right now that, see, but I still have a problem here. When I gave you three options, right there you could have said, because when I offered you the three options, I said, one, if this hall was full, I would have talked about what's going on in the world, and as a result, what are your challenges, and how do you want to shape your careers. That time you said, look, that you shouldn't have expected the hall to be full, because we expected only 20 people. See, you have to see, all that we are talking about is engagement. I'm trying to understand you. I'm not trying to blame anyone here. I'm trying to understand what is the problem, because these are problems I face more in this country than any other country. Because I'm traveling around. And for this country to win, see, these are problems. And you have to manage. The serious discussion is going on. He's coughing with his full confidence. We want to see the confidence in you. And the only way they will be able to appreciate when they see the models in us. As you can see, I'm speaking from the bottom of my heart. Days are gone. I've heard a lot of speeches where people used to say, we are at the crossroads. India is going to take off. I've heard it in 60s, I've heard it in 70s, 80s, 90s. And when Rajiv Gandhi became Prime Minister, he's going to modernize India. India will be a superpower by 1990. 1990 is gone. Abdul Kalam wrote a book in 1996-97. India would be a developed country by 2020, if not earlier. We know where we are. And there's a reason. And I would not like to see the amount of effort the current Prime Minister is putting in, again gets lost. And what can he do alone? He can only give some messages, which he is. is fixing the infrastructure, which he is reminding us of our ancient philosophy, which he is, but it is for each one of us to work on it. Would you agree with that? So the message I would take, so I will now recorrect myself or reorient myself, because one part, lesson of leadership is to be resilient. Now I'm being resilient. I'm getting more trained until now, but now I want to build on it. See, you guys should have told me that, look, perhaps there's a miscommunication. The people who were expected to be here, they are here. Am I right, or there's someone missing?
A few, a few.
The numbers should have been at least double of this. So 50% are there, 50% are not.
No, that's fine. No. Let's not. So 50%, that's not bad. 50% is there. See? Passed, they're passed. Okay, so now then let me give you the three options again. बजा दीजिए. We need a lot of talis. I will talk about it. I will talk in the conference of point number 1 and 2. I'll not talk about the world, because I'll reserve it for a major, because I would like the faculty members to be here, and I do a lot of research, a lot of discussions with political and government leaders around the world and corporate leaders. So I would like to bring the essence of that and discuss with you. But if it is full house and you can organize it, let me know when. I'll be here. Now, so we will talk about what can you do to put the country in a positive course. Now, what I have seen in my travels, yeah.
Instead of country, let's talk about ID Kharagpur, what we can contribute here.
Yeah, fine. That's fine.
They are the student leaders today. They may be facing some challenges. They are obviously the leaders, present leaders, and currently what they can do to contribute further, what we have seen. Country की प्रॉब्लम तो बहुत है, उसमें मोदी जी का अपनी है, ठीक है? तो हम यहाँ की प्रॉब्लम को दूर करें. Let's focus on that.
Okay.
How they can contribute further to improve the ranking of Kharagpur, the whatever we saw, the setup here, and when I speak, then I will do something. So that is more important.
But the question will go back to them. In your environment, what are the challenges you face as student leaders? What are you grappling with? And could I have a bottle of water? Yeah, just a small one. Yeah. What are the problems? What do you face? What are the problems you are facing?
There are times when we feel we are restricted, and there are some measures which needs to be taken, definitely forcefully or through influencing. So what can be done to remove that restriction?
You feel restricted. Give me an example.
Like during illumination days, what we used to do is we used to call people out of their rooms by banging doors and things. And then there was a series of complaints that they are pressurizing us, they are making us do this thing, and they are harassing us. These kinds of incidents started happening. So what can we do? Like, shall we change the methods, or shall we continue the previous methods which are going on?
Which is banging on the door. Banging means banging. Okay. So that's why I think, I will try to be again in the conference of bigger society and IIT. See, the difference between the most, I would say, successful countries, let me talk about Japan. Japan, the first thing when I visited Japan, it was 1979, what I was very impressed with the country is self-respect and respect for others. Now there's ways to bang. If you're banging with a lot of force, that is obviously whoever is inside is feeling very scared, and then it goes as a report to someone, And the easiest way the person who is in charge is ask you not to bang. If you bang, you will be fined. Both of them, the person who banged, he was not respectful of the person who is inside. And the person who designed the new rule is also not being respectful to the situation that he would have liked to have gone to the heart of the problem, as we were trying a bit earlier. That why you have that desire to bang so loud? Let's put it back to you.
So, because there are times that things which we want to deliver to them, which they learn during the process, they won't understand at this
Who are they?
the freshers, the second year.
You know, why are you assuming that they do not understand? Why are you all of a sudden feel because you're second and third year, you have the right to behave in fashions where they feel scared?
If I could just elaborate on
So basically, uh, all of us were also freshers and we were new to this institute at some point of time.
Right.
We also had the same thing working down, like during illumination, as Sahil has rightly pointed out, that our seniors used to also call us that, come on, we are working for illumination. You being from RP Hall of Residence, I'm sure you understand the sentiment and the feelings that the boarders of a hall have while working for illumination. That chatai, when it is entirely lit, that feeling, that satisfaction, the people who have worked on the chatai, they know, sir. But as a first year who has not seen that chatai being lit before, he does not have that sentiment. And because he's new to that hall, that sense of belongingness to the hall is also not there. So the point over here is that as seniors, we tried to, propagate or to pass on that culture, that sentiment of the hall and the KGP culture to the juniors. But during the process, what happens that since they're new, some of them might not like the idea and might like to opt out of the process. But if we, at that point of time, majority of the people opt out, the propagation and the passing down of culture will dilute with time. And eventually, the thing that we are proud of might not last long in years to come. So this is the major agenda that that Sahil wanted to point out, I guess, if I've put it right.
So I just want to reframe the question in a positive construct so that we can have a discussion. So I'll reconstruct it. So the question can be reconstructed as what can we do so as to promote the voluntarily people joining the session or anything.
That's more
Yeah.
constructive.
Yeah.
I was about to get to that. That just because your seniors, when you were a fresher, behaved badly with you, doesn't mean that you have to kind of continue that legacy on. That perhaps is a style. In the United States, they call hazing. It is getting banned and people are getting taken to courts. And their parents are paying millions of dollars through their noses because the son or daughter did something which led to a suicide. So things, bad habits that we have picked up, maybe, I also went through ragging. Fortunately, I never felt it is too impressive, it looked stupid. The seniors of mine look very stupid when they're trying to rag me, but I went through the process. I was only 15 when I came to IIT, went through a 5-year process. But when I was in second year and third year, I never felt the need to rag. In fact, I used to help the freshers out of those other colleagues of mine who were trying to rag them. In fact, I tried to build goodness in my colleagues who were my contemporaries, I mean the second and the third years. So you have to, as a leader, you have to take a position time to time that if your seniors have been bad, you don't have to be bad. You should be able to make your own judgments to inspire the youngster. What is the typical incoming age? 15, 16? Or 18? See, I was only 15 because we used to come after higher secondary. I got a couple of double promotions in my high school, so I was here in 15. Of course, I now remember most of my classmates were about 17-ish, 17-ish, 16, 18. But they're fresh. They come to a place after a lot of hard work because you guys work much harder to come into IIT because I was told you have tutorials. And the tutorials to get into tutorials to tutorials. We didn't go through that. We had to, all of a sudden, we take the exam. The exams were as difficult. but we either made it or we didn't make it. So I think we have to start a new era. Start a new era of how to integrate this. If it's the process, is the question is how to integrate the fresher. That's the question. And it is not by banging on the doors or dragging them, but to be able to get them involved. Give them a quiz, or give them some, make them do certain things, clean the hall. You know, I know one school, I know several schools where the students clean the dormitories. Students clean the landscape. They mow the lawn. Then only the 3 H's, your hand, the heart, and the head will come. The biggest problem in our country is that these 3 H's are disconnected. People are thinking they do not know how to lift. People who lift, they do not get a chance to go to school, and the heart is missing. So if you ask me the real challenge, I'm going back to the national level, but the same is true at IIT. Can you connect? Could IIT Kharagpur create a model where 3 H's are working? You know, Commander and I have been jogging in the morning, walking in the morning, and we walk around and we see garbage here, garbage there, cups there, plastic pieces here. Why is that happening? Who is throwing them? Students? If they're throwing them first, they should not throw. But if they're throwing them, could the students develop a process that every day, one wing of a hall would take responsibility of that old campus or the new campus? That's getting involved. That's the way you create a model for the whole country. I would like to see that happening in every locality in various towns and cities of this country. And interestingly enough, people who are making these cities dirty are the top 10% and the 15% of the population who can afford, take an ice cream, throw the plastic on the road. Who cleans? The bottom 30%. Don't you want bottom 30% to do something better? And then they don't do it properly. Tik se karo, that's all you, but you do not know what is tick. Because you have never done it. And that's one of the problems I see in Indian factories. When I go to some of these export units in Delhi, you know, many of my friends, they're part to come and visit my factory. They take me to, olden days they take me to Gurgaon. Now Gurgaon has become a big city. These days they take me to Noida. I go there in Haryana. And what do I see? The whole work, if you call bench, either light is missing, electric wire is hanging, is dirty, and all that guy who is taking me to the room, time to time, oh, take me. I asked him, what do you mean by that? What did he understand? So this is where we have to work on. And if charity begins at home, we can work on it in each of the halls. Because all the halls look reasonably poorly maintained. You have got grass, which could be mowed. You could plant a tree, plant a bush, plant a rose plant, and water it. We are not doing that, but your counterparts are doing in Beijing. Your counterparts are doing that in Japan. In Japan, my sons used to go to a Japanese school. I used to live in Japan for a while. They had to clean the bathrooms and clean the hallways. They did not appoint any cleaners. That was the role of the students. So they learned how to clean. Could you take it that on? Yes, please.
Sir, to the same thing, now considering that for activities that involve some sort of, enjoyment or could be sort of recreational, like illumination or any of the activities at the hall that are conducted. As you suggested that banging the doors is not the right way. For involving students into such kind of activities, we had to bang doors. But asking them to come up voluntarily and, helping in cleaning and beautifying and doing all that stuff. Yeah, sure.
Let me take that chair. Carry on, I'm listening.
Yeah. So, inviting students to voluntarily come up and help out, giving a helping hand in cleaning and doing all that stuff. How do we ensure that they come up voluntarily? That sense of realization that yes, it is my campus, it is my hall, I have to look after it. How do we inculcate that sense of feeling among the students?
That's why you should join the Leadership Academy. Academy of Leadership that we have constructed, trying to build up, is all about how do you inspire others? How do you influence others so that they can follow you? As opposed to saying, I could have a choice that these guys are not interested, and I asked Mr. Jaitley, what could I do to make you interested? But then I'm chickening out. I should ask myself that how do I get into an engagement process with your heart so that I could have added a couple of cents in your development. So same thing with your freshers, that you have to present an inspirational personality. Not a personality who looks like all of a sudden you become a military commander, you're giving him a hard time, asking him to run, and then put him in jail or bang on his door. What is this? This is how you want to influence him? You influence him or her with your personality. You have to ask that question to yourself. How do I get these young minds who worked very hard to join you? They're new. How do you welcome them? That should be the first question. How do we welcome them? How do we involve them? How do we inspire them? How do we catalyze their heart as opposed to control their body? The ragging is almost controlling their body. You're not catalyzing their hearts. So I think you guys have to understand what is leadership. I know you are in leadership roles, but many people are in leadership roles who are not leaders. And many people who do not have titles have influenced changes, very positive. I talked about Mother Teresa. I can go on and on. There was a lady here, as you know, Miss Ada Yadav, who spoke about her life. They didn't fight. They had to fight. When people were torturing them, she had to deal with those situations. So I think you have to seek deeper in your heart that what is the personality that you want to present, where people will look at you and would like to follow you. That's what you're asking for. The challenge is yours. Yes, please.
The 2 points. First is regarding ragging. So ragging is prohibited in our college, and such events don't occur here. Second point that I want to raise I wanted to ask, is regarding, again, not divert, just moving ahead from this question, regarding how can we draw people voluntarily? That is, how can we promote this voluntarism? That we have a NSS, we have NCC, but here that is also allotted to the first year. It is not on a voluntary basis. So what I wanted to ask is how to involve students on a voluntary basis, or how to promote this culture of voluntarism.
That's a very good one.
Also, sir, I wanted to add something to.
Okay.
Sir, there are some things which can be only, the value of which can be only realized by experiencing it. So, at that situation, what we can do from our side, because they are the first year or the fresh new batches, they cannot value those things until unless they have experienced. So, that is what we want to focus more on.
Now, you know what is interesting? Are you saying because you have more experience with IIT, you may have a better perspective on how to get them involved versus someone fresh? I hope you're not saying that, because if you look at life in general, particularly the business world and corporate world, most of the changes in the world has come from small companies, not from big companies. People who look at the problems with a fresh mind, Whether you talk about Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, I can go on and on all the way back to Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison even didn't finish high school, but he gave the world electricity. He had 1,347 patents. So the message that you should take, that because you have 3-4 years experience here in IIT, that's why you're superior, that's a wrong assumption. In fact, I will put it the other way around. That you have spent 3-4 years in IIT, it is your responsibility. That's a question he asked. How do I take the responsibility to inspire the newcomers? That's a very good question. So let's focus on that, because Mr. Jaitley would talk about what I couldn't. That's why you want me to out of this place. So I would finish by 5, maybe whenever I complete the answer. I would suggest 2 things, very, very simple. One is, do some inner search, who you are. One homework I always give when I conduct leadership workshops, whether I'm doing for CEOs of companies, or whether I'm doing for emerging leaders, or for my students. I used to do a leadership course at Harvard Business School, second-year students. I used to ask them, how do you want to define your brand? When people talk about you, how do you want them to talk about you? Very important question. That's one. That will force you to do the inner search. Second, ask some of your friends then, describe in 1 or 2 words how they see you, particularly those friends who know you very well and they're very honest. And try to understand that gap. I'll be surprised the way you think you want to be known and the way you are being perceived, there are generally a lot of gaps. That is something we can work on, and that is a whole workshop we do. It's a whole half a day. And people come out of it crying, people come out of it elated when they get to know. But let me go, because I have only 5 minutes, let me go to the heart of the question. So what I think you could do, once you have got a chance to know who you are, how you want to present yourself, then think of the young person who is 2-3 years younger than you. How do you want to engage with them? You have to make him or her feel comfortable, and then obviously he will look at you as a hero. So before you know, he's already following you. So that should not be the issue. Because you have earned the stature, which you can only earn, not say that you follow me. He wants to follow you, she wants to follow you. And that's a leader. But then the work is in your hand. You have to work on it. Yes, please. Yeah, you are audible.
Hello. So, sir, India is not Japan and Japan is not India. The basic difference in both the countries since the childhood is that in India you have a maid or your mother is taking care of you since the childhood. It's a general thing here that generally the boys, if you talk about boys, you don't clean the homes, and that is something that is fundamentally wrong from since the childhood. So if they come here and we ask them to clean, like we say that you clean your wing, then I am pretty much sure that 50% of them would come voluntarily. But the rest of the 50%, you would have to go to their room and ask the problem that what is the problem, that why aren't you coming? And that necessarily is not banging but knocking the door. Because there is a fright of a senior that if he doesn't want to get out of his comfort zone, he will come if a senior is there. And then he would simply come to clean or he wouldn't. I'm talking about boys, so I'm using he. So at that point of time, if the person is not coming, then what would you say? That I myself am cleaning this. If you're a good leader, you would say that I'm a good leader, I'm myself am cleaning, so you should also come to clean. But in a country like India, do you exactly feel that if there should be a force or something that should break the inertia? And that necessarily, I'm not saying that shouting is a good thing, but obviously some kind of an emotion, some kind of something that forces them to break their comfort zone, because they should be taught to break their comfort zone in a college?
Very good. It's a very good question. Um, I'll break it up in three parts because you made some very important points. First point was Japan is not India, India is not Japan. And I, of course, do not want India to become Japan or Japan to become India. But I think I realize more and more that the culture of a country shapes the competitiveness of the country. If you have a culture of being late, if a culture of living dirtily, culture of not being sensitive to each other, culture of not harmonizing with humanity, that country will never rise. Simple as that. The reason we bring up Japan repeatedly as an example, which I do, because I could see the best of Vedic philosophy being celebrated and practiced in Japan. And Japan, in a very short period of time, after the war, when it was destroyed, it introduced 100 brand names on the global market in a period of 15 years. And mind you, we do not have a single brand name as yet. So that's why Japan. Now, culture can be managed, and that's why we are here. And that's part of the reasons of the Academy of Leadership. So when you talk about that individual that you want to get involved, I think, firstly, you have to practice what you preach. That's what Mahatma Gandhi used to say, and there are many leaders of leadership said that you have to become a model, be the change. So if your rooms are clean, when you invite them to your room and they see how you clean it, naturally when you are asking him or her for women's hostels, men still do not go to women's hostels, I hope. Co-ed dorms are not there. Okay, that's good. So you have to create that inspiration. You have to create that inspiration. And that's your strategy. That how do I touch that young person who's come with a very fresh mind to learn, to be at the best place in the country. Now, as you engage with them, you have to ask case by case. The way you inspire me would be different. The way you may inspire Commander Jaitley. So you have to customize that process, and you can only do that when you are truly compassionate. So I would only request you, because Commander would like to share a few words, to unlock in you that compassion. And compassion is a very dynamic process. So when you are dynamically engaging with a fresher and teaching them how to clean their rooms so that they clean the halls, they can clean the toilets. Why should someone else have to clean the toilets? In America, most of the people do not have any servants. 99% of the people, maybe the top 0.5%, but if you go to Warren Buffett's home, one of the richest guys, he still lives in the same home where he started his own life. And he cleans his toilets, he cleans his mows his lands. And these are the things where you can say India is different. India could shape the country a bit differently if the three H's they can connect. Our H's are gotten disconnected. The head and the heart and the hand. So that's what I have to say. I mean, this is a very deep discussion actually, what we are having. So can I take 2 more minutes just to summarize? One is, clearly I personally feel that as I moved around the world, and I've seen 4 kind of countries I want to share with you. I worked in 30 countries, literally worked, where I had to deal from the boardroom to the tool room, or boardroom to the design room or the boiler room. And one kind of country which I would call the Confucius-driven countries, or where I see more of Vedicism, China, Japan, Korea, a little bit of Taiwan, a lot of Thailand, and these days I'm seeing that spirit in Vietnam. I'm seeing that. Those countries have a natural advantage which I would have loved to see in India. Their respect for each other and the mowing down is extremely visible. It's very difficult to get angry. It's very difficult not to lower your ego, because you see everyone around has got lowered egos, you learn faster. That's one kind of country. The second kind of countries that I've seen countries in Western Europe, particularly I will focus on Germany, and I would say Northern Europe, Germany, Denmark, Copenhagen, and the Scandinavian islands. What do I see there? Intensity to perform. Be nice, but performance orientation. No excuse, on time, deliver something with pride. Now, if you're delivering the newcomer something with pride, the fresher that we're talking about, you are welcoming. He's coming to your home. Why should you bang on his door? It should be the other way around. When he's nervous, he should bang on your door because he's new in the hall, and if he needs some help, he's in a hurry, he's banging on your door. That time you said, please don't bang, we don't do it this way. Because they have not heard the banging culture. So that's a second kind of the Scandinavian countries. America, North America, Canada, I see a little bit of that in the Southern America, the Mexico, Brazil. Because these are the countries which are basically immigrant developed, there is a can-do spirit. Can do, we can do. And that can-do spirit is that whatever is the problem, it's my problem, I'll solve it. And that I see across the board. And then I see the countries which are struggling. When I go to Nigeria, when I come to India, I go to many of the South Asian countries and some of the African countries. What is the problem there? The common denominator is the people who have gotten the education, they think they know everything. They have become global, and they're disconnected with the rest of the country. So one is Tiksakaro, tell them Tiksakaro, and whatever he or she knows, does it. But you do not care how much he or she knows. You just say Tiksakaro. But what is Tik? And those are the countries which are struggling. And I do not want to be India in that case, because on the other side, I see India celebrated in Japan, Vedic philosophy. And that's the pain with which I live. So with that, let me thank you for sharing your time with me. I learned more than you may expect. I hope you learned a few things, but I definitely learned. And for that, I would like to thank you. And Commander, you wanted to say a few words.
Thank you, sir. Okay. So nice of you. The time is now 4:35, 4:40. So students will start coming. I think first is Wala within next 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay, fine. I don't know. Why? नहीं, because GSEC welfare उसने notice भेजा हुआ है. Let's see. नहीं नहीं IKS का कोई function नहीं है आज. I don't think here, nothing. No. Okay. Now I've got just 10 minutes, please. Okay, 15 minutes.
Let's see.
Sir, bet here. So first of all, guys, here is an opportunity for you. Let's break the barrier of these two rows. Please come sit with Partho Ghosh. Come here. Come fast. आप बैठिए सर सेंटर में. आप बैठिए. इतना दूरी gap. Remember, you are all leaders. आप भी आ जाओ आगे. Second row में. You are all leaders. Remember that. And leaders never, they are never backbenchers. Okay? They are never backbenchers. They sit in front. Okay. Yes. Second row में आ जाओ कुछ लोग. Yeah. Now ये हो गया ना बात पास में एकदम. Yes, correct. तो सर ने जहाँ पर लास्ट एक चीज बोली थी, be the change you want to see in this world. Very, very important. अगर मैं खुद कंपनी का बॉस हूँ, खुद कंपनी में मैनेजर हूँ, कुछ भी हूँ, और खुद लेट आता हूँ और लोगों को बोलो भैया टाइम पे आओ, तो लोग टाइम पे नहीं आने वाले. बच्चों का भी यही हिसाब किताब है. They do what the see parents doing it. They do not do what you tell them to do. Agreed? So we have to set an example. So you being leaders, you have to set an examples. अब आज की तारीख में, yes, I do agree. Some people may have gone home, but लीडरशिप का एक और प्रिंसिपल होता है कि अगर मैं यहाँ पर नहीं हूँ किसी कारण से हु इज नेक्स्ट, समबडी, कि यार मैं तो नहीं जा पाऊंगा, तू मेरे बदले चले जाना यार वहां पर। पार्थो घोष जी यूएसए से आए हैं, बोस्टन से आए हैं, और कमांडर जेटली भी कोई यहीं नहीं रहता, वो भी दिल्ली से आया है, ठीक है। दिल्ली भी कोई इतना नजदीक नहीं यार, फ्लाइट पकड़नी पड़ती है, वहां से टैक्सी में आते हैं, सो इट टेक्स टाइम यार, ठीक है। एंड वी डोंट गेट पेड फॉर ऑल दिस, लेट मी टेल यू, इट जस्ट आवर लव। और इन्होंने तो $1 मिलियन दिया खड़गपुर को, $1 मिलियन, ताली बजेगी साहब के लिए, $1 मिलियन, and he can give many more million, let me tell you. I can give my time, he can give his money and time both. मैं हिंदुस्तान में रहा, ये पूरी दुनिया घूमे हैं, ठीक है, ये पूरी दुनिया घूमे हैं। तो मैं इनके साथ, बाय द वे हमारी मुलाकात पहली बार हुई है यहाँ पर अभी 3 दिन पहले, या दिल्ली में मिले थे एक दिन, या वी वर टुगेदर इन दिल्ली 2 days back, that was just last week you can say. Before that our you can say meeting also happened on Zoom, that was 1 year back, that's all. कोई हमारी पुरानी जान पहचानी है। सर 71 बैच के हैं, मैं 79 का हूँ। 71 में मैं 9th क्लास में पढ़ता था जब साहब यहाँ से पास आउट किए। सो ही इज़ वेरी वेरी सीनियर टू मी, मैं इनके चरण छूता हूँ, ठीक है। और आपको तो पूरा दंडवत प्रणाम करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है। तो एक चीज़ का ध्यान रखो यार, बी दी चेंज यू वांट टू सी इन दिस वर्ल्ड। और हाल में भी यही करना है आपको, एज ए वीपी आपको यही करना है जो आप दूसरों से एक्सपेक्ट करते हो। यार मैं एक एग्जाम्पल सेट करके जाऊँ, मैं यहाँ पर जीसक जब सॉकेंड कल था तो मैंने कभी सोचा भी नहीं था कि मैं वीपी भी बनूंगा, सोचा भी नहीं था, क्योंकि मैं सोचता था मैं वीपी के काबिल ही नहीं हूँ, क्योंकि साले 100 पाक्स इतने धांसू होते थे, इतने जबरदस्त बोलते थे, और अपोजिशन वाले इतने तगड़े थे, और मेरे को अंग्रेजी आती नहीं थी ठीक से, हिंदी भी यूपी वाले मजाक उड़ा देते थे, बट फिर भी चलते चलते खैर पीपल फेल्ट कि नो ही इज ओके यार। बट एज ए जीसैक I did so good job you can say, and to my luck वीपी बेचारा बहुत ही सीधा साधा शरीफ आदमी था उस समय, वो कोई पंगा नहीं लेता था, किसी चुप करके बैठा, यस सर ठीक है जो भी है। वो जितने पंगे के काम होते थे मुझे करने पड़ते थे जा करके, तो लोगों ने बोला ये बंदा ठीक है, कहते बेटा अब तू अगली बार वीपी के लिए खड़ा हो जा। एंड द अपोनेंट वाज टू गुड डिबेटर और इंटरनेशनल लेवल, नेहरू हॉल, कौन है नेहरू हॉल का इधर, वाज टू गुड यार, आई टेल यू। तो मैं देव प्रयोग हुआ सर, I mentioned to you. I said यार ये तो 100 बॉक्स मेरी धज्जियां उड़ा देगा, but people felt during the 100 boxes also कि जो दिल से आवाज़ आती है ना उसका एक अलग इम्पैक्ट होता है। वहाँ पर इंग्लिश एक्सेंट नहीं चलती, तो दिल से आवाज़ आनी चाहिए। अब जो आपका क्वेश्चन था बेटा, जूनियर के साथ कैसे बिहेव किया जाए, इट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। आई टेल यू, टेक इट एज ए लीडरशिप चैलेंज कि यार मैं हॉल का प्रेसिडेंट हूँ, अगर मैं इनको मोटिवेट नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ तो कमी मेरे में है कहीं पर। ये तो कल का बच्चू आया अभी यहाँ पर, वो तो 2 दोस्त भी नहीं है उसके यहाँ पर, कोई किसी को नहीं जानता वो। इफ आई एम नॉट एबल टू मोटिवेट, देयर समथिंग रॉन्ग विद मी। सो टेक इट एज ए चैलेंज, इकट्ठा करो, प्यार से बात करो, ये करो। और डंडे के हिसाब से आजकल कोई काम नहीं चलने वाला। इनके टाइम में चल जाता था, मेरे टाइम में थोड़ा कम चलता था, उसके बाद बिल्कुल नहीं चल रहा, आजकल तो बिल्कुल नहीं चलेगा। लेट मी टेल यू, ये भूल जाओ कि हमको डरा धमका करके मना लेंगे, नहीं, उस टाइप की रैगिंग अब नहीं हो सकती। Things have changed. You have to change with the times. Remember that. If you do not change with the time, things will not happen properly. Leadership के principles भी change हो रही हैं, इसी प्रकार के। फौज के अंदर भी लोग कहते थे अच्छा फौज में तो कमांड दे दी तो उसको बेचारे को करना ही पड़ेगा। यस करना पड़ेगा, लेकिन वो बेदिला करेगा। तो जब बेदिल से करेगा तो वो इतने रिजल्ट अचीव नहीं कर पाएगा। तो फौज के अंदर भी आज अब जवानों का भी एक बड़ा खाना होता है, एक ओपन हाउस होता है, उनके साथ भी डिस्कशन होती है, बेटा बताओ क्या प्रॉब्लम है तुम्हारी। तो थिंग्स हैव चेंज्ड इन द डिफेंस फोर्सेस आल्सो, कीपिंग ऑल दोस थिंग्स इन माइंड। यहाँ तो बड़ा पढ़ा लिखा बच्चा आता है यार, आईआईटी के अंदर एडमिशन लेना इज नॉट ए जोक। यू पीपल हैव कम हियर एंड आउट ऑफ योर हार्ड वर्क यू हैव रीच्ड हियर, and having reached here you are devoting your time for your hall, for gymkhana and all those activities. आपके अंदर leadership qualities हैं। इसको भी एक चैलेंज ले लो कि अगर मैं फर्स्ट ईयर वालों को या सेकंड ईयर वालों को अपने साथ नहीं ले पा रहा तो कुछ मेरे में कमी है यार। आई टेल यू, सोल्यूशन अपने आप आएगा। वो कहते हैं कि 5% पीपल मेक थिंग्स हैपन इन दिस वर्ल्ड, 15% पीपल वॉच थिंग्स हैपनिंग, 80% डोंट नो व्हाट द हेल इज हैपनिंग। यू आर अमंग द टॉप 5% एज लीडर्स, and I give a lot of regards to the people who come forward and take the leadership, come forward. बाकी लोग सोचते हैं छोड़ यार मुझे क्या लेना देना, मैं पढ़ाई करूँगा, थोड़े नंबर ठीक ठाक लाऊंगा, यूएस भाग जाऊँगा, पैसे कमाऊँगा माँ बाप के लिए, बच्चों के लिए. That's all. People have that philosophy. And the man who gives time for the people, उसके दिल में कुछ तो तड़प है. आपको पैसे तो नहीं मिलते किसी को नहीं पैसे मिलते ना, फिर भी आप टाइम लगाते हो उतना, क्यों लगाते हो? यस, एक तो मन में कुछ है, मजा आता है, एक पोजीशन को है, मैं हाल का प्रेसिडेंट हूँ साला यार, स्टूडेंट सेंटर मेंबर, थोड़ी सी होता है, मेरे को तो होता था, होता है. व्हाट आर यू, विच हाल? ऐसे. ओके, बाय द वे, विच हॉल? जेसीबी, नेहरू, आरपी, एसएल, एलएलआर, लल्लू हॉल, राधा कृष्ण, लाला लाजपत राय, आजाद, आजाद. सो पटेल इज मिसिंग ऑल टुगेदर, आरपी इज मिसिंग. अब देखो आरपी हॉल का बॉस बैठा हुआ है यहाँ पर, उस दिन चाय पी के आए वहां पर बैठ करके आरपी हॉल में, परसों सुबह मॉर्निंग में, और आरपी हॉल का बंदा ही नहीं है यहाँ पर, हैं? अबे छोड़ यार, कैट एग्जाम को दूसरा आ सकता था, तीसरा आ सकता था, ये सब बहाने हैं यार. जिसके पास बहाने हैं उसके पास बहुत बहाने हैं. तो जेसीबी हॉल का कोई नहीं आया, वीएस हॉल का कोई नहीं आया, मदन मोहन मालवीय का कोई नहीं आया. जेसीबी, अच्छा जेसीबी, ओके फाइन, ग्रेट, फाइन. इधर आओ ना यार, ये सामने आओ ना, इधर सामने यार, हद होगी. मैं डिस्टेंसेस कम करना चाहता हूँ, आप फिर दूर बैठे हो. इधर आओ बेटा, तुम भी आओ पिछले रो में. सो जो भी है, कुछ हॉल्स के एक बंदा भी नहीं आया हुआ, ठीक है. सो दिस इज नॉट डन. अब किसने बोला था कि इतने पोस्टर्स आते हैं, इतने पोस्टर्स आते हैं, आप ही ने बोला, दिमाग पागल हो जाता है देख देख करके कि यार क्या अटेंड करें और क्या ना अटेंड करें. आई फुली एग्री विद यू, इट हैपेंस. नाउ टेल मी, आप में से किन लोगों ने ये थोड़ी देर के लिए प्रोग्राम अटेंड किया कि आपने अटेंड किया, और किसने अटेंड किया? ऑनलाइन यू अटेंडेड, ओके फाइन, ऑनलाइन यू अटेंडेड, ओके. अब ऑनलाइन का मैं बता देता हूँ, ऑनलाइन का अटेंड करने का एक्चुअली 20% ही फायदा होता है, क्योंकि 80% टाइम आप अपने मोबाइल देखते रहते हो, ठीक है. और जहाँ यहाँ पर फिजिकली भी बैठे होते हैं, आज सुबह बैठे हुए थे क्योंकि ज़बरदस्ती बुलाया था उन लोगों को, तो मैं उधर पीछे जा करके बैठ गया था, पूरी रो में 6 या 7 बच्चे सिर्फ मोबाइल देख रहे थे. तो मैंने फोटो भी खींच ली उनकी, तो मेरे पास रिकॉर्ड भी है उनका कि कौन लोग बैठे थे. बट आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू टेक एनी एक्शन अगेंस्ट देम, नथिंग, नो प्रॉब्लम. आई टेक इट एज अ पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ, नो प्रॉब्लम, ठीक है. अगर आप लोग इस लेवल पे नहीं सीखेंगे तो कब सीखोगे? गलतियां अब नहीं करोगे तो कब करोगे? सो दबा के गलतियां करो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ठीक है. करो गलतियां, लेकिन उन गलतियों से सीखो कि इन गलतियों को मैं दोबारा नहीं करूंगा. और यहाँ इसने